The concept of outsourcing middle office, whether it be treasury transactions, collateral trades, or other functions, has exploded in the last 5 years as alternatives that managers and corporates have turned to partner firms to help them scale up.
Thanks to technology, many middle office functions can now be outsourced to providers that specialize in delivering them, freeing up in-house teams to focus on value-added tasks. However, many believe this is just the start of this trend, with middle office set to change dramatically over the next 5 years, thanks to further breakthroughs in the technology and service delivery.
Well, to find out more, we can speak with Ryan Fitzgerald now, Head of Middle Office Solutions at Citco Fund Services. Hi, Ryan.
Great to have you here on Sibos TV virtually. Let's get right into it. What do you see as the key challenges for businesses running their own middle office now?
Yeah, I mean, the challenges there's a lot, right? But I think the key one is, how do you grow a business, right? How do you really get scalability quickly? And there's really knock-on effects to that, right? There's the people cost and the technology cost. So, I hear the mandate, you need to double an AUM, but you can't hire. So how do you scale your business? You look to your service providers to really lean on them and provide that technology, that cutting edge technology, as well as all the people, right? They become essentially an extension of your organization to support your growth.
And there's a lot of recent and upcoming regulations as well. Is that putting more pressure on in-house teams?
Absolutely, without question. In today's day and age, you're not trading in a single region. You're trading around the globe. And to keep up with all the regulatory changes is very tough. A great example is the recent T1 settlement that, took effect this year in Canada, United States, and Mexico. So if you're trading in Asia, but you want to hit those markets, do you want to hire someone to be kind of the boots on the ground, ensuring those trades settle? Or do you want to look at a service provider that's really going to help you, follow the sun and trade all the markets that you want and have that local expertise to help you navigate the regulations and help you support your business?
So what are some of the solutions available to businesses?
A lot of solutions out there. When I look at a middle office, there's really core four products that I look at that managers can leverage. The first is really the trade life cycle. Executing a trade, do you really want to be matching that trade in the street? Do you want to handle life cycle events, or do you want to look to a service provider to do that? So, trade matching is one area where I see a lot of managers starting to leverage outsiders to help them facilitate that business for them. And then you have, collateral management. It's another area. We're in a heightened rate environment where, do you want to be really over collateralizing trades, or do you want to keep that cash in house and deploy it, right? So collateral management's the kind of the second one. And treasury management is definitely an area where asset managers can really gain some capacity. And investors love it. They love when there's an administrator or a third party validating standard settlement instructions, and being a checkpoint, right, in the workflow. It's not all done in-house. There's this segregation of duties. And really all this comes together to provide that scalability and allow managers to redeploy these individuals to higher value tasks. I mean, what they're doing essentially is giving 80 to 90% of the work to an outside provider, and they're really just performing the review and oversight. So it's really a compelling model that, is really taking off.
And you've really, hit on a great point, Ryan. It's really about the investors. It's about the clients, right? But with middle office challenges that you've really clearly outlined, how is Citco trying to help, your clients overcome?
Yeah, so it goes back to how I kicked it off, scalability. We want to be an extension of their organization. We want to manage the ebbs and flows of their trading volumes and their growth. So, we want to make sure we have the best in class people and the best in class technology. So taking that burden off an investment manager and allowing them to focus on what their investors want, which is generating returns, it really is helpful to them. We really pick up the slack, and like I said, doing 85 to 90% of that work and just reviewing that review and oversight is hugely beneficial.
You touch on technologies there. How can AI and other technologies, of course, help streamline middle office, do you think?
Yeah, AI was a buzzword, and we're really starting to see the benefits of it. And what I think you really are seeing it deployed in areas where you have highly repetitive tasks that can be automated, right? So, use the example of in the reconciliation space, you can deploy AI to help manage a lot of those data points coming in and reconciling them, and not having to do it manually. The other area where we're really starting to deploy it now is long form confirms. You can actually use AI to extract the data, compare it to what's been booked, and maybe an accounting system, and validate everything's right. So, I think we're just starting to engage with AI. And I think that, as this journey continues, you're really going to start to move into a touchless environment where AI is really driving a lot of the matching, a lot of the settlement, and it becomes review and oversight, again, for the outsourced provider, but also the asset manager.
I mean, if you think about it, it is a lot to keep up. So, what would you say to businesses still trying to do everything in-house?
It's challenging. I think, the cost to keeping your technology investment up if you're doing it in-house, you have to just take a step back and reflect. Do I want to keep investing in proprietary technology, or do I want to go out and leverage a third party? So I see that as being one of the challenges. I mentioned regulatory, doing things in-house. You have to keep on your toes about what's transpiring around you. So I think that's really kind of some of the key drivers. That global presence is really pushing the envelope.
Now, we're always looking to the future here at Sibos. Always a hot topic. So I'm going to ask you to look forward 5 years, if I may. What does middle office look like for businesses in 2030?
2030. So I have an interesting view on this. So, if you take a step back and you think about, middle office, historically, that's been done internally. The individuals that launched these asset management, they came from the big banks, right? So they had that big infrastructure around them. I kind of align it to the cloud. If you go back 20, 25 years ago and you told someone to put data in the cloud, they wanted nothing to do with it, right? They wanted that on-prem and they didn't want it in the cloud. Fast forward to today, hard pressed to find anybody who doesn't have data in the cloud. That's the generational shift that I see taking place with middle office. They've been near and dear to it for so long, but they're starting to see people break away. They're starting to see technology really kind of advance quickly. And they're understanding that these are somewhat commoditized functions that we can leverage a third party to manage for us, just as long as we have that, review and oversight capability, which is key when you're outsourcing. And I think that's something I want to point out is, you're not just kind of giving someone work to do. They're doing it on your behalf. So you want to have that line of sight and visibility to ensure that everything is, going as planned.
Well, Ryan, as you said, to your point, the future of finance is already here. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.